Welcome to Finished Work International Ministries, a ministry that is on the cutting edge, changing lives around the world. As you let God in today and apply the word, expect a divine encounter and supernatural transformation.
It is impossible for you to be defeated when you have the revelation of the will of God. It is impossible for situations to subdue you when you walk in understanding of what God is saying to you. Let the finished work of Jesus determine what you pray.
When God is your source, you don't look back. You keep looking forward. You keep trusting. God, I trust you.
Here's Apostle Faithman Ogboada.
I appreciate everyone who have made this Market Kingdom Fellowship a success today. And today we'll be looking at maximizing your resources. Maximizing your resources. If you're going to take the lead in your products or service, you have to recognize your resources. Sometimes people want to build a successful business and they say to themselves, I don't have the financial resources, I don't have the human resources. Sometimes we limit resources to financial resources, to human resources. But there is more to resources than financial resources and human resources. A prophetic word is a resources. You know, we haven't considered that as a resources. A prophetic word is a resources. Why did I say prophetic word is a resources? If we look at the scriptures, the Bible, we'll notice how people move from obscurity to influence and prosperity because they have access to a prophetic word. In 2 Kings chapter 4, when you read about, okay, let's quickly go there. I'd like us to look at it. 2 Kings chapter 4. In 2 Kings chapter 4. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In 2 Kings chapter 4, I like us to look at about this woman here. She was a widow and she was in debt. She was struggling financially and things were not working according to her expectation. And people, those that her husband was owing, came to take the sons away from her. In 2 Kings chapter 4 from verse 1, he said, now there cried out a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophet unto Elisha, saying, thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord, and the creditors is come to take unto him my two sons to be bound men. Verse 2, and Elisha said unto her, what shall I do for thee? What shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in thy house? You know, the question Elisha asks set a foundation for she to be an entrepreneur. And the word was, what do you want me to do for you? And what do you have? What you have is a resources. It may not look much, but it has the potential to accelerate your vision if you value the resources. So a prophetic word is a resources. Ability is a resources. If you have an ability in a particular area, that is a resources. The ability to write, create. You know, sometimes people looking at different areas to find resources, thinking that is the real resources. But sometimes unknowing to us that our natural abilities are resources. Your skill set in an area of profession is a resources. Your skill set is a resources. Your ability to process information and utilize the information is also a resources. There are hidden resources that most people don't see For most people in business around the world, consider resources to be limited to material resources, financial resources, and human resources, unknown to most people that information is a resource. Information is a resource. We trade on information. Information is a resource. If I can value information, it is an indication that I'm not going to utilize my resources, because information is a resource. So if you look at this scripture, the text we just read, the man of God asks her, what do you have? You want to start a business, and maybe this business, when we look at it in the next 10 years from now, is going to be a multi-million-dollar business. When you don't have $1 million to start that business, maybe all you have to start right now is $1,000. You see, the value you place on that $1,000 and the thinking you release as a result of that $1,000 will determine the difference you're going to make. Sometimes people said, I don't have much, but the question is, do you utilize what is available? The essence of this teaching is for you to utilize what is available, using what is available to create what you desire. Like that. I said, using what is available to create what you desire. Who is a great entrepreneur? Is a person with the ability to utilize what is available and in creating like into a prophetic word. So if you have a prophetic word right now, maybe the Lord spoke to you and told you, you're going to have a great business, you're going to be successful in business, and I want you to go into this area of business, that is a resources. You can lay hold of that. And that resources have a potential to, that prophetic word have a potential to inspire your faith work. It has the ability to step up your faith to be able to step out. So Elisha said to her, what do you have? She thought she had nothing, because the way she responded to the question revealed to us that she never saw what she has as if she never saw it as something that has a value. And she said, I have a pot of oil. For she, that was not a resources. But to the man of God, that was a resource. Small beginning does not mean you're not going to have great ending. Small beginning means you have an opportunity to control your future. When God gives you a small beginning, it means you have an opportunity to control your future, because you cannot truly appreciate growth until you start the process. You can appreciate growth until you start the process. So your ability is a resources. Skill is a resources. Information is a resources. Information is a resources. Another resources we have is your faith in God is a resources. Someone said, how can my faith in God be a resources? No one built a great business without walking by faith. You can build a great business without walking by faith. So faith is a resources. Faith is a resources. Faith is a resources. Favor is a resources. I had this testimonial in my eye. Someone shared in my country how they wanted to start a business, but they had no money. So they decided to travel to the US to meet a man they could talk to him about the business. And they have so much faith that the man was going to release the equipment for them to start the business in Nigeria. So they spoke to the man. The man encouraged them, why not work for my company? Why not work for my company? And they said, no, the Lord has spoken to us to do our business. You see, it was by faith and favor that got us equipment from that man without paying for it. And they believed that when the business succeeds, they were going to do the return of the finances. Your faith can start your journey of progress. Your faith can start your journey of progress. Sometimes people are afraid that should be the resources. So fear keeps them backward. Fear tells them you don't have the finances. If you have faith, you have what will attract the finances. If you have faith, you have what will attract the finances. If you have favor, you have what will attract the finances. So for me to maximize my resources, number one, I need to recognize my resources. The recognition of resources is the foundation for deploying your resources. I said the recognition of resources, knowing your resources, is the foundation for deploying your resources. You cannot truly deploy your resources without knowing your resources. So when the woman said, I have just a pot of oil, and Elisha gave her an instruction, he said, go and borrow vessels. So she was amazed. Why should I borrow vessel? But you see, a prophetic instruction is also resources, like I told you. And these resources have a potential to open a door for supernatural help. Because in building business, we need supernatural help. I want to say that again. I said, in building business, we need supernatural help. Why do you think that some businessmen got involved in occultism? In this part of my world, people got to join occultism to make their businesses grow because they believe there is a need for supernatural power to convince people to buy their product or to respond to their service. Why are they doing that? They recognize that there is a supernatural factor needed in making things to go to that direction because we have relationship with God. If I have relationship with God, that is already a resources. That is already a resources. You know, one of the ways that businesses succeed is when the CEO is full of hope. Most businesses failed when the CEO lost hope. The business could have succeeded. They could have come out of debt, but he lost hope. You know, the scripture said something. He said, in Job chapter 14, he said, if a tree be cut down, he said, there is a hope that it will sprout again. So the recognition of your resources will lead to utilizing your resources. So you have to recognize what you have. Number two, you have to value what you have. You shouldn't despise what you have. Oh, I just have just this $100. I just have this $10. I just have this connection or this relationship. I forget to tell you this. Relationship is a resources. I forgot to tell you that. I was rushing. So relationship is a resources because relationship opens door for networking. One of the ways you grow in networking is when you understand the skill of relationship, the skill involved in relationship. Businesses grow through relationship. I said businesses grow through relationship, whether it's service or products you're selling. Relationship opens the door for recommendation of products and service. Relationship opens the door for recommendation of products and service. People recommend you better when you have relationship with them. So relationship is a resources in building your business. My ability or your ability to maximize relationship will create the synergy for greater possibilities. Yes. To maximize relationship. So relationship is a strategic resources. I may not have the finances, but I may have relationship with people who have the finances. Maybe I can bring forth an idea. The next thing I forget to tell you is that idea is a resources. Idea is a resources. If you have an idea, you have a resources. Idea is a resources. You may have an ideas and then you have financial partners. In business, there is what is called dormant partners, and there are also active partners in business. So you may have an idea, and that idea is a resources. I may not have the finances, but if I have a working idea that has a potential to accelerate either the product or the service, I'm going to attract financial partners. I'm going to attract people who may also have the potential to help the business to grow. Wisdom is a resources. Wisdom is a resources because the scripture said that wisdom built her house. So it takes wisdom to build business. It takes wisdom. Wisdom is not being crafty. Wisdom is understanding at work. I said that wisdom is understanding at work. Wisdom is understanding at work. When we have wisdom, we can utilize understanding. I want to say that again. I said, when we have wisdom, we can utilize understanding. With wisdom and understanding, we can create strategy that can lead to accelerating our sales in the marketplace. With wisdom and understanding, we can create strategy of what to do, of how to meet our targets, of what to do. So wisdom is the resources. When Solomon was asking God for a heart of understanding, Solomon was called into leadership. And one of the key things that Solomon asked for was for wise hearts, a heart of understanding, the ability to know the difference between the left and the right. And that was one of the keys to Solomon's success in leadership, because there were certain matters that were far beyond his natural ability, but because he had supernatural wisdom, he was able to make right decisions. So supernatural wisdom is a resources for making right decisions. One bad decision can affect the whole business. One bad decision can lead to setback. One bad decision can lead to the decline of sales of products and services. One bad decision. And we don't need to get to that point. And this is why we need to understand Romans 8:14. Romans 8:14 said, as many that are led by the Spirit of God, you're a businessman, you're a businessman, you got to be led by the Spirit. Why should I be led by the Spirit? If I'm led by the Spirit, I know what product to invest into. If I'm led by the Spirit, I know what product or what service we should give. Because by the help of the Spirit, I can see the end of this product. I can see where this product is going to. That is your edge over those who don't know God. As a kingdom businessman, as a kingdom businesswoman, your relationship with the Spirit of God is your edge over people who don't know God. Why? Because you have an opportunity to know before it happens. You have the opportunity to know before it happens. So let's make progress. So value your resources. Let's look at Matthew 25. In Matthew chapter 25, I want to show you an example of what happened here. It was, Matthew chapter 25. In Matthew 25, let's look at from verse 14. It said, for the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country. Matthew chapter 25, verse 14. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. He called his servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another he gave 2, and to another he gave 1. To every man according to his several ability, and straightway he took his journey. Verse 16 said, then he that has received 5 talents went and traded. That's a business word. Went and traded with the same and made other 5 talents. He maximized his resources. He got 5 talents and he traded with that 5 talents. He went to work. He never despised and said, oh, I have so much talent. I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be doing that. He traded with the 5 talents and he had more 5 talents. Now, look at what happened in verse 17. And likewise, he that has received 2, he gained more 2. But he that received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid the lost money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoned with them. And so he had received 5 talents, came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, and behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. When you read this, you will notice that the man who received 5 talents and the man who received 2 talents had a vision for their resources. One of the ways you give direction to your resources is when you have vision for your resources. That's the next point. You have to value your resources to have vision for your resources. If you don't value your resources, you will have vision for your resources. If you don't value your resources, you will, because vision gives direction to resources, and vision opens the door for maximizing resources. And what this man, the man that had 5 talents, has was a vision. The vision led him to work. Because there was a vision, there was a workflow. Because there was a vision, there was a sales flow. Because there was a vision, there was marketing. Because there was a vision, there was strategy. Because there was a vision, there was networking. Because there was a vision, there was relationship. And he traded with what he had more 5. This proved that if people trade, if people utilize what they have, they're going to produce more. But we had the guy that had 1 talent. He never valued the talent. When people don't value what they have, they can't create vision for what they have. I want to say that again. If a person doesn't value what they have, they can create a vision for what they have. Most businesses are dying, not for lack of resources, but for lack of clarity of vision. There is no vision, because vision should have, your vision should have what I call a generational life. You should dream beyond your lifetime. If you're going to live for 120 years, you should have a vision that should be able to take your organization for the next 150 years. Imagine the next 150 years where your company is going to be. Imagine the next 150 years. Do you have a vision for your organization for the next 150 years? What is your goal like? The employees your organization is going to have in the next 150 years? You see, there is something about vision that puts you on the path of work. The man who received the 1 talent had no vision, because vision helps you to value what you have. Vision gives you a sense of work. Vision gives you a sense of dignity. Vision is the foundation for unlocking potential. Because if I have a vision, it gives me an opportunity to deploy my potential. So what is the vision for your organization? So where is your organization going to be in the next 50 years? A great businessman thinks in the long run. You're thinking in the long run. Although sometimes we think in the short run, but we need to think in the long run. What happens 50 years from now? What happens 35 years from now? What happened to this business in the next 20 years? Then when we have a long-term vision, that vision gives us an opportunity to maximize the moment. The man who received 1 talent did nothing. And this is the state of so many people today. They said, I don't have much resources. I don't have much resources. They don't know what it means to create a small beginning that has a potential to create a great ending. They just look at their resources and said, I don't have much resources. It's just 1 talent. So unknowing to him that this 1 talent can multiply, potential multiplies. Potential multiplies. Because the guy who had 5 talents have just brought forth 5. He got 10. The guy who got 2 talents have brought forth more 2. He got 2. That's 4. That simply means that potential multiplying ability within it, when it is being utilized, and the man who had 1 talent never valued it, and that was why it never multiplied. Businesses begin to grow when people value what they have. Because when you value what you have, it will create passion for advancing what you do. If you don't value what you have, you can have passion. Passion comes from value. Passion comes from value. If I value what I do, the passion to keep doing it will be there. But if I don't value what I do, the passion to do it would decline. So the man who got 1 talent never valued what he has. And this is what has happened to a lot of people. They started business and they don't see the possibility of growth because of their inability to believe what is available. This is so small. How much can this do? What can this product do? Just this little product, what is it going to do? Unknowing to them that the product may not be much, but if there is passion, it will increase. and that was the strategy in Matthew 25. The man who received 5 talents, he went to work. It's not what you have that makes the difference. It's what you do with what you have that makes all the difference. I want to say that again. I said, it is not what you have that makes the difference. It's what you do with what you have that makes all the difference. You know, the guy who had 5 talents could have as well said, well, I don't have to do anything. I've got 5 talents. I've got 5 talents. 5 talents cannot multiply except 5 talents is being used. 5 talents cannot multiply except 5 talents is being used. The guy who had myself, I got 2 talents. You watch them, they have a work ethics. They have a work ethics. They know that they needed to work on it. They needed to work what they have. When you recognize your resources, then it will lead to you valuing your resources, and then it will open door for the vision for your resources. So these 3 points I've just mentioned are very strategic points. Recognize your resources, value your resources, have a vision for your resources. These are strategic points for maximizing your resources, because you can't truly maximize your resources if you don't recognize that you have a resources. Like I shared with you that most things we think they are not resources are real resources. Your faith in God is your resources. Your faith in God is your resources. Favor is your resources. You know, sometimes you are trying to supply a product, or you're trying to render this service for this company, and then you say, Lord, I thank you because your favor is upon me, and these people are going to listen to me. And they listen to you because you had favor with them. He had favor. The Bible says that Jesus had favor with man and with God. He had favor. So why is favor strategic in business? Because favor is the reason why people look at you differently. People are going to look at you differently and say, what can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I assist you? Favor is the reason why people could listen to you. You can have the right product, you can have the right attitude, but if you don't have favor, there's going to be a struggle. Yes, you can have the right products, you can have the right attitude, but if you don't have favor, there's going to be a struggle, because favor is the reason why they could look at your products. If your products in the market, they listen to you. Most things we do today in business or with products or with services, there are substitutes. Why are these substitute goods? Is to give people option of what they want. Substitute goods give people option of what they should go for. And this is why we need God's favor. Because when the favor of God is in operation, people tend to listen to you and they tend to like what you do. They just like it. I just like him. I just like him. I just love this guy. You know, they just look at you and say, I just like the way he talks. I just like him. And they don't know why they can't resist you. I just like him. I just like his look. That is the resources. Most people don't have that. They may have great advertising, but they don't have favor. And this is why I said to you that favor is strategic in building business. So favor is your resources. So never take for granted the place of favor. Maybe you're into sales and you sell on commissions. Maybe you're into real estate and you sell these properties on commission. You need favor to do such business. Telling you. Because there are many brokers out there. There are many salespeople out there. So why will people tend to do business with you and not with others? So favor can make you to receive $1 million in 1 week. You have $1 million in 1 week because you had the favor of God, and the people bought the property for over $20 million, and they decided to give a percentage, and you got $1 million because you got a favor. So favor is a resources in business. So let's make progress. There are a few things I will share, then I'll be done with you. Okay, watch this. Never take for granted opportunity. Never take for granted small opportunities, opportunities that never look like great opportunities. Opportunities are resources. Opportunities are resources, truly. Opportunities are resources. Opportunities sometimes come in form of the tool to design something, and someone just saw it and said, I have a company who is trying to get a logo, and they want something, they have anything. You see, one of the ways we come into opportunity is when we choose professional excellence. When you choose professional excellence above mediocrity, there is a tendency that you're going to come into opportunities. Why? Because people like people who are good at what they do. I don't know how to listen to a boring preacher. Sorry, I don't want to say that. I'm sorry. That was not part of my. I'm sorry. I didn't want to say that. I didn't know when that came out of me. But I like someone who could help me, someone who could help me get better in what I do. So opportunities are very strategic in advancing what you do. And opportunities sometimes come in a way that you never thought it was an opportunity, but it was an opportunity. And opportunities can grow into greater things. So how you respond to those opportunities can determine how you can grow that business. The opportunity to use your talents and your time. Time also is a resource. Time is a resource. We use time for exchange of goods and services, also for exchange of money. Time is a resource. So how we use our time to promote our resources is very, very important. So for a great business person who is going to take the lead, you need to recognize your resources. You need to believe in yourself. This is another powerful key. Believe in yourself. Some people want to build a business and they say to themselves, I don't think I'm that good enough. I don't think I'm that good enough. No, don't say that. I don't think I'm that good enough. I don't think I have what it takes. The more they said that, it becomes difficult for them to break the limitations because they believe they're not good enough. You have to believe that you're good enough. You have to believe that. You have to believe that I am good enough to do this and I can do it well. You see, even in your mistake, don't accept defeats. Even in your mistakes, don't accept defeat. Even in your mistake, don't betray yourself emotionally because you need your emotional energy to stay in business. If you're not healthy emotionally, you can just throw it up and say, well, I'm done. You need emotional energy. And this is why when people get frustrated in business, it affects their emotional response. It slows their motivation. The reason for emotional energy is that it strengthens your motivation. Your motivation comes from emotional energy. And that emotional energy is a result of what you believe. That emotional energy is as a result of what you believe. So if I don't have the emotional energy, it means I don't have the motivation to stay in business. And I need the motivation. I need the motivation to stay because sometimes people just say, I'm tired of this business. This is not working out. This is not moving. And they are allowing their present situation to define what they believe. They're allowing their present situation to distract them from what they can do. Emotional energy is important in sustaining your motivation for business. Work hard to stay healthy emotionally. Because the business world is full of all kinds of opposition and challenges, and some days you had great sales, and maybe other days the sales didn't come. You didn't have the level of sales you expected, and if you're not careful emotionally, you're disturbed. practice the act of talking to themselves. Hey, you can do it. Hey, you can do it. You can do this. You were born to do this. You can do this. You have what it takes to attract things. You need to believe that you have the power of attraction. You need to believe that I have the power of attraction. I have the ability to attract resources and people. You need to say that to yourself. You know, some people said, oh, I can't attract anyone. I'm not good at it. The more we said we're not good at it, we place limits on our possibilities. The more we say we're not good at it, because there is so much change going on in the business world, I have to believe that I'm good at it. I have to believe that I can achieve this. I can do this. This is possible. That is why I started with telling you that a prophetic word from God is declare it, say it, say it. This business is growing. This business is growing. It may not make sense to someone who heard you, but you are planting the seed of greatness. This business is growing. This business is growing. My downline is growing. My clients are growing. You know, you need to say that. Why do you say that? You're creating attraction. You're pulling people into this place. They are coming. The people are coming. The people are. You have to be proactive about what you do. You have to be proactive about what you do. And this is what makes you a person who is going to maximize your resources. Write this down. If you want to maximize your resources, use it for the things that improve your business. If you want to maximize your resources, use your resources for things that improve your business. That's number one. Number two, put your resources in the area of your passion. Put your resources in the area of your passion. Put your resources in the area of your passion. Number three, see your resources as a seed you plant with an expectation for harvest. See your resources as a seed you plant with an expectation for harvest. That's number three. See your resources as a seed you plant with an expectation for harvest. Number four, take your resources to the next level by improving on your resources. Take your resources to the next level by improving on your resources. Whatever the skill may be right now, it can get better. Whatever the ability may be right now, it can get better. Take your resources to the next level by improving on your resources. I believe that you can be strategic, effective, and productive when you choose to value what is available. And you know that scripture we read at the beginning section of this teaching. Elisha said to her, what do you have? She never said anything of value. She just said a pot of oil. So that was not enough. But we need to have the enough mentality. Yes, you need to have the enough mentality that this resource is enough to generate more things. You need to have the enough mentality. That was what she never had. She said, this it doesn't have much value. But Elisha told her, go borrow vessels. And then when you come in, you drop the oil in the vessels. And what happened? There was overflow everywhere. The enough mentality that what I have can produce more. What I have can produce more. The more you say that to yourself, psychologically, you're repositioning yourself to take the lead. You are not, you want to do that. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. And we are releasing the wrong energy into the atmosphere. We need to develop the abundance mentality, the enough mentality, the abundance mentality, saying to ourselves, I can do much with this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all I could do for this section. Thank you for being part of this broadcast.